Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Maddie here. We have another deck showcase video. Today it's going to be Mega ALTARIA, which we all know and love. It actually won our tournament this past weekend, but we're building a different version of this deck list, which is with SILLVALLY. So I was really surprised. When ALTARIA won this weekend, I thought, well, ALTARIA is very good. I think everybody understands that. But when I went and I took a look at all of the data over the last week or so, I was very surprised to see that actually the most successful version of Mega ALTARIA, the highest average win rate version, was with SILLVALLY. And that's very interesting because most people are playing ALTARIA with Greninja. Some people are playing it the traditional way with Chinglings and, Indidis and Jirachis or whatnot. But this version has been performing better than any other deck from an average win rate perspective. So I wanted to highlight it for you guys in today's video. Nothing else to really discuss here other than, just double ALTARIA, double SILLVALLY, double Chingling. And of course, we are running two Gladion and a bunch of different supporters for the deck. That includes double Lycia to find our Chinglings and our Swablus. That's going to also help us to utilize SILLVALLY's attack. And then, of course, double Research, one Mars, one Cyrus, one Sabrina. That Mars is going to come in handy a lot in conjunction with Chingling. So I really think this deck has a lot of potential. I know some people maybe are kind of wondering like, oh yeah, SILLVALLY. It's been quite some time since I've, seen SILLVALLY see a lot of play. I still think it's a very good card and likely is going to be a really good option here. The one thing about this ALTARIA deck, as opposed to maybe some of the other ALTARIA decks, is that it's going to do much, much better against Oricorio. So I think that could be a big reason why this particular deck is doing better than some of the others. But yeah, we're going to play some games. We're going to showcase it in today's video and hopefully give you guys maybe, another deck to play, another top meta deck to play as we go into the ranked season, which begins this Friday in just a couple of days, which is exciting. But before we get into the gameplay, we have a sponsor for today's video. Let's go check them out. This video is sponsored by the modular card displays made by Fanity. The founders of Fanity love collecting cards of all different types, but they wanted a way to display their cards safely while also keeping that creative expression that comes with interior design. Fanity's modular card display frames are very easy to use, easy to build, and easy to customize, allowing you to display your cards however you want to, while of course also keeping your cards safe. The best thing about the modular card displays is that you can build them however you want to look basically however you want to. Not only that, but you can display up to one card or as many cards as you want in one display frame. If you would like to go and express your interest in this project, go and support them at their new Kickstarter. The actual product will be launching soon, but you can go ahead and check out the referral code down in the description below to go ahead and support Fanity and express your interest in this product, which will be launching again very, very shortly. Thank you again to Fanity for supporting this video. Now let's get back to it. All right, guys, let's hop into some gameplay and see what this deck can really do. We, of course, are not playing on any emblem event ladder or on the ranked ladder. Those things are not out yet, so these are just straight up random battles. Who knows what decks we're going to go up against? Who knows how this deck is even going to perform? But definitely, guys, test this deck out. Let me know what you guys think. I know SILLVALLY, to me, is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Very, very strong Pokemon, and it does kind of just make sense with ALTARIA. By the way, you guys should go and register for PMPT number 16, Sweet 16. It's coming up this weekend. It's going to be Saturday, the day after ranked releases. So I know a lot of people are going to be busy playing ranked, but I would definitely recommend that you guys go and play. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. $300 cash in the prize pool. We're leading off here going first. Swablu active. We have Research, Double Gladion, and Pokeball, which is kind of crazy. So we are probably going to have to, well, we have to, we got to be careful how we play this deck. Type Null is definitely the Pokemon we typically would want to lead off with. But in the same vein, what we probably want to do here is perhaps not evolve this active Swablu. It depends on really what our opponent does here. It looks like he's playing like a Leafeon-based deck. So, things like Chingling might not be that useful. We have no way to search Chingling, but we're going to drop down both type Nulls here and then potentially, go into a Chingling. At some point, we got to be careful. Chingling's definitely the Pokemon we would like to lead off with most of the time, whereas the ALTARIA we want to come in probably later in the game. Our opponent does immediately get the Leafeon online, which is a little bit crazy here, which means that he's actually just going to KO us next turn, regardless of what we're able to do about that, really. So we have to be kind of careful here. I'm actually going to just bench this Swablu, and I think we have to just accept the fact that he's going to KO the Swablu here. So I'm going to attach to the type Null. Hopefully this can work out for us. And then I'm going to Gladion here, guarantee ourselves a SILLVALLY. Yep, perfect. So again, we have to let this Swablu go down just because we're behind on energies, and SILLVALLY here will be able to tank a hit even with Rocky Helmet against the Leafeon, unless of course he has, something like a, an EV back, which he definitely could. But we're gonna go ahead and let him just kind of KO this Swablu. Nothing else for us to really do here. And yeah, so Rocky Helmet plus the Solar Beam is 90. So SILLVALLY 110 HP. He's going to have to have like double EV bag to be able to KO us. And the Celebi does come out here, and the Celebi's a little bit scary. It's not going to be like the craziest thing in the world in the face of our SILLVALLY, but yeah, SILLVALLY should be able to live an attack, and if it can, then we can just get into ALTARIA afterwards, which is going to be definitely pretty fine here. What do we top deck? It's a Cyrus. So we have to play supporter this turn. I'm not going to evolve the ALTARIA, at least right now. I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to play the Research just to draw a couple of cards here, and that means we can hit the Leafeon. And there's a Chingling. Cool. I will bench it here. And I might just evolve to end the turn in case we get like Copycatted or Mars or something like that. So yeah, let's just do this. Let's evolve Mega ALTARIA here. No Mars. We did not draw into Mars. But now we can go ahead and Brave Buddies for 100 damage. And yes, we are taking 20, but that leaves us with 90 HP. So unless he has double EV bag, we will not be getting KO'd, which is, of course, definitely somewhat relevant, I would say. Now, the Celebi's a little bit scary, but we can't want to kill the Celebi with any of our Pokemon. So he either stays in here to get the damage, or he retreats into Celebi and then devolves us, but then we're still alive. We can just re-evolve and then KO the Celebi, and I think we're going to be in a pretty fine spot. So this Celebi's a very scary card. Oh, and he's also playing Meowscarada, which is pretty funny. But we need to start committing energies to the ALTARIA. I love Leafeon. It's such a strong ability. The Forest Breath ability allowing him to generate additional grass energies. Really strong. Let's see if he stays in here or if he goes into Celebi. He is going to actually stay in. No further damage modification there is very interesting, right? Definitely an interesting thing to note. Now we have Sabrina and Cyrus in hand. So this to me is a very obvious play. At least I think it's obvious, which is just pressing the Sabrina button here and then killing one of those two bench Pokemon and then Cyrusing up the Leafeon on the following turn. I think that's definitely just going to be the play here. Sabrina is a massively underrated card in the metagame right now. I think that if you're not playing like double Greninjas, you should definitely be playing one Sabrina and one Cyrus. But SILLVALLY's such a strong card. Very underrated currently in the metagame. He's going to bring up the Sprigatito here, but we have Cyrus in hand, so, this should work out for us, and we're not going to take any Rocky Helmet damage, which is really, really good. So we're taking one prize card here, and the next turn we can always just bring up this Leafeon, or, even if we get Marsed, I suppose, we might be able to bring up the Leafeon, or just kind of finish off the game with Mega ALTARIA. That is sort of the whole strategy here. Chingling, SILLVALLY being single prize Pokemon means that we can kind of do a lot before we even go into Mega ALTARIA, and that is sort of the core concept of our deck. So he goes back into Leafeon here, but he might retreat. He might go into Celebi to take the KO here, hoping, of course, that, I don't have Cyrus, but I do in hand. So I'm not sure what else he could do here. Yeah, he's got to go into Celebi, take the KO with Temporal Leaves, which is pretty funny. But either way, he's just going to go down to 2 prizes, and we're just going to KO Leafeon with Mega ALTARIA. So pretty fun deck. I mean, we didn't have a very strong lead there, right? We went first and led Swablu. That's kind of like worst case scenario. So things actually ended up working out pretty well for us here. Let's go ahead and attach, and Cyrus. No BMing here. At least in this game. We like to BM our opponents sometimes, but not right now. He's going to go ahead and drop the concede. So the Sabrina Cyrus combo there ended up being really strong. We had to sacrifice the Swablu early in the game, but, SILLVALLY and ALTARIA, even if just you have to go through those 2 Pokemon, it's a lot of damage and a very difficult, hill to climb, I would say, especially for Leafeon. That's a deck that doesn't necessarily deal that much damage, Leafeon especially, compared to SILLVALLY, which hits for 100, which is just nuts. SILLVALLY's a very strong Pokemon. Very underrated, I would say. Let's play some more games here. I'm really curious about this deck. I would love to kind of test it a little bit more and kind of figure out where its matchups really lie. I think the Chingling stuff's going to help us against a lot of relevant decks in the metagame, especially like with the one Mars, right? Being able to, item lock, stop the Hydreigons from evolving, stop the Greninjas from evolving. Really important stuff, quite frankly. And that includes okay, we're going second now leading Swablu. And that includes, Blaziken and whatnot, which is definitely becoming a bit more common as time goes on here this season. Blaziken's definitely a good deck. Definitely a strong deck. Okay, so we are playing Suicune Greninja. He leads Froakie and goes first, which is ideal for us, unless he's playing double Greninja. But yeah, we also have Mars in hand, which I like. We got to be a little bit careful here We should be able to have an extra turn here because he went first and led Froakie. So attaching and discarding into a Chingling might not actually be that bad. However, this one Pokeball is the only Pokeball in our deck. We do play double Licia. So the chances of us getting a Chingling off this Pokeball is pretty low. So unless we top deck a Licia, we might not have Chingling for this next turn. I stand corrected. There it is. The Chingling is great. So we are just going to discard here and retreat. It's always kind of worth it to get into the item lock in my estimation. I just think is especially since we have Mars in hand, it's definitely going to be a strong thing to do here. Now, at the end of the day, we have to also figure out if it's even worth it to put this type null down. It will increase the damage that Suicune can deal. Yeah, I think maybe we wait. I think I'm going to wait on the type null to bench. Actually, no, I'm just going to bench it. I'm just going to bench it. We're in a good spot here, and we'll get the item lock down, and I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot here. So I think we're going to do the same thing as last game, which is that we're going to start committing energies to type null first. And if he doesn't draw to another basic, which he might, we could actually Sabrina and bring up one of these 2 prize Pokemon, which could be pretty relevant for a Cyrus win condition later in the game. Okay, so the Frogadier comes down. The lucky turn 2 Frogadier, which we love to see. Which is, why people play Frogadier in the deck, right? Without question. This is definitely the most relevant Pokemon for the particular Chingling matchup. So he gets a bit lucky. He does only have 7 cards in deck. So the turn 2 Frogadier, nothing we can do about that. That is, the one sort of counterplay to, of course, playing the old, to playing the Chingling. But now I think what we have to do, coincidentally, is kind of just commit here to type null preemptively, which is probably fine. We have to imagine that he has Greninja in hand, so I think Mars this turn is probably the correct play. Honestly, we want to just stop the Greninja. I'm going to Mars him this turn to 2 cards, and I'm not going to evolve because Greninja, well, I guess maybe we should evolve. If he does get Greninja down, then we can't KO. So if we SILLVALLY here, okay, so this is how this works, right? We can get damage off with Quick Blow this turn and not evolve, but that requires us to evolve. Or what we can do here is evolve, and if he does get Greninja, we don't get KO'd. But I'm actually going to hedge my bets here, and I'm not going to evolve into SILLVALLY, and I'm actually just going to Quick Blow here without evolving. And then, that way next turn, if we want to, maybe we can just start committing energies to the Swablu. We flip Tails, which is unfortunate, but even if he evolves now, we can KO him, right? So that's something to keep in mind here. Let's see if he goes Rare Candy Greninja. If he does, that's obviously really unfortunate. Second Froakie comes down here. And he's going to heal. I forgot, indeed, he can heal, but we're just going to hope that he doesn't evolve, right? Okay, never mind. He just has Greninja EX, I guess. Okay, all right. Okay, our opponent is absolutely popping off here. Off the Mars to get Greninja EX, the turn 2 Frogadier. Kind of worst case scenario for us, quite frankly, but this is why Suicune is such a strong deck. The potential for Suicune is absolutely astronomical. I mean, this is a deck that quite literally just, can do everything it wants to do. So we have to put him asleep here, sadly. We literally have to. There's nothing else that we can possibly do here. I'm going to Licia to just draw a couple cards. And there's a second Swablu and a Chingling. So, yeah. Anyway, let's put him to sleep here. And he's going to stay asleep for 6 turns. I can feel it. Our luck is going to turn around here. And the sleep is going to stick. Our opponent has had every card he needs to, so some RNG here would be nice for sure. Let's see. Swablu's broken because of this, we can't put him asleep. So it is technically a win condition, even though our opponent has been popping off this game. But yeah. Okay, never mind. All right. So our opponent is obviously the most skilled player of all time, getting every single card in order that they could possibly want. Yeah. Okay, listen. What could we have done differently in that game? Well, we could have not retreated, right? So when he evolves the active and then could KO the Chingling, sure, that's a possibility. That's only if he doesn't get, or if he, if we kind of assumed he wouldn't be getting. He retreats here for the BM, which I appreciate. Congrats to him. We gotta love the BM. I'm not sure why he did that, but you love to see it. Okay. So let us do something here. What can we do? I don't really know. I guess we can. Why did he do that? I'm not really sure. Okay. Let's think about this. Yo, shout out to the BM. If we Sabrina here, he's probably going to go into Greninja, which maybe is fine, but not really. So what we want to do here, technically, is maybe try to utilize SILLVALLY, but I think he should have just won the game last turn. I don't know why he didn't. It is what it is. We are already down our Mars, which is obviously unfortunate. But yeah. So, yeah, like we could have not retreated and then maybe tried to go like turn 2 Altaria, but there was no guarantee that we would have gotten it. We just grabbed a SILLVALLY, by the way, off of the, you know, we just got a SILLVALLY off of the Gladion. No type, no, but that's fine. So we're going to hit for 70 here, which is kind of funny because now he's only going to be able to hit us for like 80 unless he has Rare Candy Greninja Water Shuriken. And if he only hits us for 80, then he can't 2-hit KO us. And then we could 2-hit KO him and then win with Sabrina, which would be a really funny play to make. So let's see if we can make it happen. If he gets second Greninja out at any point in time, we're going to lose. But he did theoretically open up this game for us, which is funny. Okay. All right. All right. I mean, technically it's possible here. I wish we kind of had Mars, but we don't. It's okay. It's all good. Let's play. Actually, we can't. Oh, yeah, we can. I was going to say we need more basics, but this can be a type null here, which is cool. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. And yeah, we do lose to a Sabrina, but they don't typically play Sabrina. So yeah, theoretically speaking, this Greninja only can hit for 100 damage, which is really funny. I don't know why our opponent BM'd us there. You might have lost him the game. So all he really needs here is Rare Candy Greninja, which he's got 5 cards in deck. It's about to be 4. So if he goes Rare Candy Greninja, then he can hit obviously for 120 and we lose. Giant Cape is funny. He should have caped the Ndidi. I don't know why he didn't. Our opponent's playing very suspiciously, I would say. The Suicune, unfortunately, though, yeah, that's okay. That's going to stop us, of course. Oh, no, he has Rare Candy Greninja anyway. Okay, he's got it all. All right, the BM did make sense. Shout out to Veteran Zoro for, I don't know, maybe he was just confused. I don't know. We got to assume that our opponent knows what to do most of the time. This is a funny game. What an interesting game. I'm going to keep it in the video anyway. This is what Pokemon Pocket random battles are all about. Is your opponent getting super lucky with Suicune, but just purposely like throwing the game for a couple of turns. Pretty funny there. But yeah, no, our opponent popped off. There was literally nothing we could do. He went turn 2 Frogadier. We Marsed him, and then he had the Greninja EX. So he kind of just drew out of everything, you know, possible. I forgot to thank my opponent, which is probably fine considering how that game went. But yeah, very classic Pokemon Pocket game. We all love Suicune Greninja, right? We all love it. They play 1 Frogadier, again, for Chingling, but it's absolutely useless unless you get Frogadier on your second turn. He just happened to do that, so shout out to him. Going first as well. Froakie lead going first, turn 2 Frogadier, 30 damage KO, which is funny. I think most people play the 30 damage Frogadier instead of the, you know, instead of like the 40 damage 2 energy one. I think it's definitely a lot better, especially in the face of like Chingling. We're playing a Genesect deck. H-Samp. I don't know what this is, but this Genesect here is kind of threatening. I'm not going to lie. We are going second leading type null, which is typically a good thing. We can grab 3 basics here as well, and then Gladion for probably a SILLVALLY on turn 2. So I kind of like our position here. I like what's going on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Altaria is really strong, guys. I think that, you know, if you're playing Altaria, it's probably just worth it to play Chinglings, and you're going to be in a pretty good spot regardless, right? No matter kind of what cards you're playing. Let's Pokeball first. Probably should have Pokeballed second now that I realize it, but it's all good. Quick little misplay. It's no problem. Swablu and a second Swablu. Let's put these guys down here. I'll put a Chingling down here as well. Not that it's probably going to matter, but yeah. And then we will Quick Blow. I'm just going to bench all these Pokemon here. It's fine. I'd rather not get like, you know. We definitely should have Pokeballed after to increase the odds of pulling another type null out of the deck, because type null we can't grab with, you know, can't grab with Gladion. So it would have been a lot, definitely a smarter play to Alicia and then increase the odds of us grabbing the type null with the Pokeball, so that we would have guaranteed or had a better chance of pulling SILLVALLY off the Gladion on the following turn. That was definitely a misplay. I'll call that out for sure. But you know, we're just chilling. I'm not too worried about playing perfectly. You know what I mean? 1 energy on the Genesect there. There's another Chingling. Okay. So here we go. We should have made the play better before, and it is SILLVALLY. Okay, never punished. Love to see it. You gotta love it. And the cool thing about SILLVALLY, just like SILLVALLY decks back in the day, is that if you lead type null and you go second, you're just really strong. Like, it's a very difficult Pokemon to get over 100 damage turn 2, 110 HP. It's just a really, really aggressive card. One of the best cards in the game going second. And, you know, the Swablu lead going second's good, and then if we go first or second, Chingling is a good lead. So You know, really a strong deck list. I think the only difficulties that you might find with this deck that I can imagine is, you know, potentially, you know, going first and not leading the right Pokemon, and you're just kind of behind a little bit on energies, especially if SILLVALLY, of course, like gets KO'd fairly early. You know what I mean? You're kind of having to just sort of rely on like letting a Pokemon go down and then going Chingling into something else, which is never like the most ideal, but you can, you know, potentially just retreat into Chingling and then Mars or whatever and try to stall for a bit. Like there's stuff you can do, but both Pokemon in this deck require double energies, and it's, again, literally the only, like the only way to get those energies is to manually attach, right? So going first, you're going to be behind just sort of a bit regardless. So yeah, we're not going to Mars him yet, but we are just going to play the Licia so we can draw cards. And I'll just attack him again. We're about to KO ourselves from all this Rocky Helmet damage. Yeah, you know, Genesect here is a strong Pokemon, but it just requires a bunch of energies, and there's not a lot of great, like, metal energy acceleration in the game. Like, we have Dialga. I guess, like, there's other options, I suppose. Yeah, there's Dialga. I like the deck. Dialga, really all steel metal type cards are really, you know, it's tough. We are weak to metal, though. Altaria is, but yeah. All right. Kind of a meme deck there. I would say, you know, going second, SILLVALLY is going to be tough to get around, especially if you're playing Genesect Dialga. Yeah, man, I'm just excited to potentially play SILLVALLY in a deck. Like, I think SILLVALLY is just a really good card, and it just has not really seen play in the meta for quite some time. I can't really remember the last time people played SILLVALLY like regularly. I think in a couple seasons ago, people were playing like Lightning SILLVALLY with Oricorio and like Zero Aura and stuff, and that was a pretty solid deck into Suicune Greninja, but it kind of fell off. I think when Mega Pokemon came out, like when Mega Rising came out, we had Hydreigon and like and stuff like that. I just don't think many people really have invested into SILLVALLY, but I do think it's a really good card, and I think it's probably kind of worth playing more than people probably realize, honestly. Okay, so I like our hand. I do like our hand a lot. We're going first, but we're leading Chingling. And we're playing Suicune again. Let's see if they get that turn 2 Frogadier. Pikachu is what we're playing against. We do have SILLVALLY and type Null in hand. There's Swablu, second Chingling. I'm probably going to go Chingling here. So what I want to do is just do these. And we're going to bench all of this. I know we're playing Suicune, but I'm just going to go full bench here. Legitimately, I'm just going to do it. We're going to try to draw cards. And we're just going to try to get that Mars as early as possible. I wanted the second Chingling because we're going first, so he's going to be able to Water Drip attack us this turn if he potentially wants to. So, yeah, we're going to rely pretty heavily on Chingling, and yeah, pretty much that's kind of the move. Giant Cape does come down here, and he is going to just Water Drip us, which I kind of assumed that was the case. He can't play Pokeballs because of the item lock. Cool. All good. So now, because we put down the second Chingling, we can just retreat into the other Chingling, right? Now the question here is like, what Pokemon do we want to attach to? I guess we can just commit here to the type Null and SILLVALLY, because if he does evolve into Frogadier, we can just KO it with SILLVALLY, right? So this is kind of working out fairly well. We're going to go into the full HP Chingling. Let's research for 2 more cards, and there's the Mars, which is really good. And of course the Gladion. We could have actually stayed in with this Chingling if we knew we had Mars and just let him KO to Mars him to 2 before we KO, but he can't play any Pokeballs. So if he doesn't have any Pokemon, we can actually just sort of KO this Froakie here with SILLVALLY. He does get the Suicune here. I assume he's probably going to split the energies. Yeah, that's probably the correct play on his part. Oh, and he retreats. He does retreat. Okay. So we have Sabrina and Cyrus in the deck. Potentially we draw into them, which could be pretty cool. Could be pretty relevant. Licia. Okay, so let's attach to Swablu. Because what we want to do is Chingling hit him with Chingling here, keep the Chingling locked down, and then potentially, let's see here. What do we have? Like, I guess, well, we have Swablu in hand. So Licia's not going to grab anything. We have all of our basics, actually. So I guess Gladion's the only card here to thin out our deck. What we want to do is draw into Mega Altaria. So I'm going to stay with Chingling, keep the item locked down, and we'll deal 10 damage. So if he doesn't have like a second Cape or Irida, we're going to be able to maybe go into Mega Altaria next turn and KO him, right? Only 6 cards in the deck, double Mega Altarias in the deck. And Sabrina Cyrus, so we could target the Froakie here on the following turn if needed. But let's see if he has Irida. He has second Cape. Okay, all right. I mean, that is certainly something here. But we can't just sort of Mars him and then potentially still KO. Or we could go into SILLVALLY this turn. Mars him to 2 and then SILLVALLY. We'll see. We'll see what our options are here. Because we also got to keep in mind that we're not playing any damage modification. So double Giant Cape's a little bit annoying. He's drawing a lot of cards here. But the item lock could still... Oh, okay, so Sabrina's good. Sabrina is really good. So, Okay. So let's go SILLVALLY. I'm going to Sabrina. It's a little bit sketchy, but I'm going to Sabrina. I'm going to retreat. This Chingling has 1 HP. But I'm kind of banking that Suicune can't KO SILLVALLY because he won't have any other Pokemon on his bench here. Like, that's sort of the whole concept. And I'm not going to bench anything else to minimize the damage from Suicune. I'll KO this Froakie. And then if he comes in with Suicune, hopefully he can't KO us this turn. He would need... Oh, he never could. He never would be able to, even if he went, like, 3 basic Pokemon, which is really good. So we dropped the item lock, but we were able to KO the Froakie, which is good. So no Greninjas. And then hopefully we can draw into an Altaria. But we're going to get an attack off with this SILLVALLY this turn, you know, which is, like, relevant. But we have to be careful. Okay, so Indeedee comes down. If we see a Froakie, it's going to be a little bit scary. Okay, so he top decks the Indeedee, I suppose. Pokeball, he's able to play now. All good. Double Pokeball. All right, so the item lock was relevant. We're going to have to Mars him to 2 and like hope it sticks. He's going to play a Research, so he's drawing a bunch of cards. 5 in deck here. It's a little bit scary. It's a little bit suspect. He does go full bench, which is awesome. So shout out to him. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do here, or going to have to do, I should say, is probably, like, we really do want Mega Altaria, I think. Because this is going to be 100 damage, so a Froakie or a Greninja next turn, Marketing Greninja, you know, will allow him to basically win this game. We need Altaria. That's not Altaria, which is really tough. Okay, 4 cards in deck, both Altaria is really, really, really unfortunate for us. Because we're going to just now lose to a Greninja. So basically what we have to do is Mars to 2 and just hope that works, which is, you know, very unfortunate. If we had a Mega Altaria this turn, it would have been way better because we would have known, we would have been able to guarantee, unless he had Rare Candy Greninja Cyrus, that he wouldn't be able to win this following turn. But because both these Pokemon are in 10 HP, it's very, very sketchy, like very sketchy, unfortunately. So yeah, we have to just Mars and then hit with SILLVALLY, which does not feel very good at all, even though we have Cyrus in hand, because again, we will lose to Rare Candy Greninja. In this with these 2 cards, right? So it's fairly likely that he has it, but I guess that's really our only play, unless we go into Swablu and Sing, which I don't like that play because we need to get damage off on this weekend. So yeah, unfortunately, just didn't draw any Altarias. We have both of them in our 4-card deck because we could have just gone into it, hit for 130, and then probably just guaranteed to win the game off that Mars. But anyway, let's see if he's got it. Let's see if he's got it here. Irida's fine. We don't care about the Irida. Well, I guess we do if we don't draw Altaria, because there's no guarantee we do draw Altaria. Because the Indeedee Giant Cape and Irida means he's at 120, but no Rare Candy Greninja. He stays in too. All right, so yeah, we need Altaria here. We have a 50-50 chance to draw it. In fact, I think one of the other cards in our deck is Research. Yeah, so we have 1 Research and 2 Altaria in our deck. What's the other card? I don't even know. Anyway, okay. Let's do it. Let's just draw. We have a 2 out of 3 chance. There's 1 card in our deck we don't want to draw. Okay. That guarantees it. Sweet. GG. All right. I like it. I like this deck. It's a fun game. Fun games, good deck, because we have 2 other basics here. The perfect amount of basic Pokemon. And yeah, GG. All right. Oh, 1-1 into Suicune. 1-1 into Suicune. I do like our deck. I really do. It feels a lot better when they don't go turn 2 Frogadier. We got kind of unlucky that game, actually. Got kind of unlucky. Like, we came down to the Mars to 2, because, like, if we had Altaria, we could have just had a way higher chance to win, but we got lucky there off the Mars there, which is why Chingling Mars is broken, you know what I mean? One of the main ways that you can beat Suicune. He was playing double cape as well, which is kind of crazy. Like, just a lot of interesting stuff that game. But SILLVALLY, 110 HP, very clutch there, living the attack from Suicune. Absolutely broken. What a broken card. I like this deck a lot. All right, let's play one more game, I guess. Just like maybe one more. Ensoras is our opponent today. What do you guys think of this version? You know, again, there's a lot of ways to play Altaria. We've seen so many different versions. We've seen the traditional version. We've seen you know, like the Dragon Arcana version. We've seen the Furfrou version. We are going second leading type null, which is typically good, especially with SILLVALLY Gladion in hand. It looks like it's a Jolteon deck as well. But yeah, so wait, boosted evolution EV, if he goes Jolteon this turn, if we attach, we get KO'd? No, because he's behind. Yeah, he'll never be able to attack us. So this actually works pretty well. I think it works fine for us. Should work fine. He even has the E chord, which is nuts. So let's Lissia here and see how much damage we can actually deal. If we do flip heads here, you got to keep in mind that we're able to actually KO this thing next turn. He didn't get a 0 or down or anything, so he can't attack us on his second turn. So That's pretty cool. Let's bench these two. We do have Gladion, Mars, and SILLVALLY. So if we hit for heads, all right, we never hit heads on SILLVALLY. We have the worst coin flip block in Pokemon Pocket, I swear. It's absolutely brutal. It really is. But I mean, let's see, because like honestly, we might, because if we attach again, we're gonna be at 80 HP, or we're gonna be at 70, which is not ideal. We do kind of want to get Jolteon on the active. Like, I don't want to have to force ourselves to attach to Swablu here, which would be unfortunate. But if we draw an Altaria, then we can just do that. There's the Oricorio, which we do have Silvally's for. But, yeah, no Altaria in hand is a little bit sketchy, right? Yeah, so he's just going to go ahead and do this. Oh, we do draw Mega Altaria. But the scary part here is that if we attach to Swablu, we're going to take damage, right? Which we don't really want. Because then he could Cyrus up and KO us. But we can't evolve and attach, which is probably safe. Because he can't KO us regardless that way anyway. So we're just going to do this. I know it's a little bit sketchy because if he Cyrus us up, we take 80. But I'm not really worried about that. Actually, we could just evolve the Silvally. Well, hold on, actually. We got to think about this. So let's Gladion. See what we pull here. It's another Silvally. Like, do we want to evolve the active? Probably, right? Because this is going to put us at 90, and we just don't attack because there's no reason to. And next turn, if we Gladion, we guarantee another basic, and then we just KO the Jolteon. So I think that's the better play, actually. So now he can't KO anything, and then we'll just KO the Jolteon next turn. So if he commits energies to the Jolteon, that's not going to really help him at all. And then potentially, you know, Silvally will keep around for Oricorio later in the game, right? Or just draw Noah Sabrina, because Tapu Koko's at 130 HP, which is obviously, you know, a good number for us because we can hit for that much. So he does attach to Jolteon here. Does he have EV Bag? He doesn't. So there we go. We'll just KO. Now he does have E-Cord, which is obviously, you know, something. But yeah, so let's I think I'm thinking about this correctly. So if we Gladion, we're gonna get Type Null, which is good. We'll do this. We'll go here. We'll take 20 more damage, which is unfortunate, but not the end of the world. He might, I don't know. The thing is, like, he's going to be forced to go into Oricorio, because if he goes into Tapu Koko or another Jolteon, like, we just will KO. I guess he could have a second Jolteon, but I still think this is the best play for us. Now, our Silvally's at 0 energies, which is unfortunate, right? But we can take a hit from Oricorio. Let's see if he decides to commit. He does, actually. He puts the energy on the Eevee, yeah. So if he has another Jolteon, that's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary. Okay, so he's going to go into Oricorio here. Yeah, what we really want here is not another Jolteon. But, I mean, we can kind of checkmate. Okay, he has another Jolteon. But we can kind of checkmate this here. Unless he attaches to Jolteon and retreats. He doesn't. He puts the energy on Oricorio. And he's going to Cyrus up the Silvally. Okay. That's fine. This is all totally fine. I'm not worried about any of this, actually. Jolteon's not in the active, and we have a second Silvally, so let's just do this. We'll go into Chingling here. He's only got 1 prize. I'm going to attach to Type Null. I'm going to evolve it. And I guess we just Lycia here to thin out our deck a little bit. We have Sabrina and Cyrus in the deck. And that's 2 more basics, which is great. Do we want to bench this? I guess why not, right? Just bench the other Chingling. Probably a bad decision, but yeah. And then we'll just hit the Oricorio. And then KO with Silvally if he stays in. Or if he goes into Jolteon, we'll just 2-hit KO with Altaria. You know what I mean? And that's if we don't draw into Sabrina or Cyrus, which both of those are going to be win conditions next turn. With 5 cards in deck. So I don't know what else he could do here. If he stays into Oricorio, he gets KO'd. If he goes into Jolteon here, that's fine. You know, we're not really worried about that. Cool. We can Mars him to 1 as well, if we want to. Now, we do take damage by attaching energy, so we got to be careful about that because Jolteon's in the active. So let's just go into Chingling here so we have the free pivot, and we'll see what we top deck because, you know, multiple options here are win conditions as we saw. So, GG. Yeah, this deck's good, man. Silvally's really underrated, guys. Like, if you're watching this video, Silvally is very, very underrated. Very, very, very underrated. I think it's just a really good card. in the game, and I think it pairs pretty well with Qingling and Altaria. You just have a lot of options, which I think is fun. So, yeah, man, that's going to be the gameplay. That's going to be the video today. Comment down below what you guys think of Altaria and SILLVALLY. Very slept on in my mind. Very, very slept on. Of course, other strong decks in the game you're not always going to beat, but I think as far as, you know, meta decks go currently right now, I mean, you got to consider this as a legitimate option. The win rate's been phenomenal. It hasn't been that popular, but it's, you know, in tournament play in total, there's been about 100 games that this deck has played across varying different players, and it has, again, about a 66% win rate, which is amongst the highest out of any deck in the game right now. So shout out to SILLVALLY. Maybe SILLVALLY here kind of finds its way back into the metagame here at the end of this Crimson Blaze season. We'll see. Very interesting. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, test this deck out for yourself, because I would definitely recommend it. Don't forget to go and register for PMPT number 16, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. By the way, we have like new graphics and stuff on the channel, so hopefully there's a little bit of a refresh here in 2026. But anyway, guys, there you go. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let's get out of here. Peace out. Bye.